I am so excited to make this video because we have some massive news. So YouGov just released their final and largest poll of the 2024 election cycle, where they interviewed 55,000 registered voters to see if people prefer Vice President Kamala Harris or Donald Trump, and the results were very favorable for VP Kamala Harris. Now, this is a massive sample size. This isn't a poll of 300 people in some random county in Pennsylvania. This is 55,000 people centralized in key swing states, and I want to go through all of the results, show you guys VP Harris's paths to victory, show you guys Donald Trump's potential paths to victory, and also explain how these polling results describe Donald Trump's erratic behavior over the past few weeks. Now, as Donald Trump has been slipping in the polls, his campaign is only becoming more chaotic. We saw him allow wildly racist jokes at a campaign event that was meant to be the beginning of his closing arguments, and since then, every single event has been an absolute disaster, including the one last night where his mic went out and he was just cussing, pissed off with the crowd. Take a listen.
I don't mind if they want to come up a little forward or something, but it's a pretty stupid situation, but that's okay. I get so angry. I'm up here seething. I'm seething. I'm working my ass off with this stupid mic.
He genuinely is seething. A large portion of this rally consisted of Trump just battling his microphone, and he's been getting pissed off over the past few weeks. That may be because he's getting some bad internal polling. So without further ado, let's jump in. Kamala Harris leads Donald Trump narrowly in YouGov's final MRP 2024 presidential estimates. The third and final release of our model estimating 2024 presidential election votes in every state based upon more than 55,000 recent interviews with registered voters shows Kamala Harris leading Donald Trump by 50% to 47% in the national popular vote less than a week before Election Day. If you're looking for an accurate poll, folks, it's going to be the one that was taken less than a week out with 55,000 people. And honestly, the national popular vote doesn't even matter. I'm excited to dig into some of the swing states. So, the November 1st update shows Harris with 240 electoral votes in the bag and Trump with 218 in the bag. 80 electoral votes as toss-ups. You can see the bar right here. So I find this chart to be very interesting. All of the usual toss-up states are in gray, like Pennsylvania, like Wisconsin, like Arizona, and Nevada. But if you notice, the lean Trump states, which I'm highlighting, not likely Trump, but lean Trump states like Texas and Florida, you'd think they would be either safe or likely Trump, but no, they are only lean Trump. That means they are within the margin of error, a Kamala victory in Texas is within the margin of error. They are only lean Trump. They are one away from a toss-up, so that is absolutely amazing. The latest model update is based on 57,000 interviews through October 31st from YouGov's US panel conducted as a part of a larger project. So overall, Kamala's winning 50 to 47%. Let's go through some of the more interesting states. So in Alabama, Kamala has 39, Donald Trump has 60%. In Arizona, it's 48% Kamala to 50% Donald Trump. Arizona is a key swing state, and Kamala Harris is only down 2 points. That is not terrible. That is within the margin of error and is possible for VP Harris to win Arizona, but we don't even need it with some of these other results. Look at Florida. Florida right here. I'm highlighting it. It's blue. Florida shows 47 Kamala Harris to 51 Donald Trump. And you guys may be thinking, Kamala's down 4. How is that a good thing? In Florida, that is amazing. Kamala Harris being down only 4 in Florida is beautiful. Let's go to Georgia right after. Kamala Harris is at 48% to Donald Trump's 49%. That is comfortably within the margin of error. That is a small error away from VP Harris winning Georgia. That is basically what it said Biden was at in 2020. Hawaii, Kamala Harris is winning handily. We can look at Illinois. VP Harris is up 55 to 41. Indiana, 41 to 56, basically a flip. Iowa, VP Harris is down by 11 points, but that may be a function of RFK Jr. being taken off the ballot there. Let's go on to the next page where we see Michigan. VP Harris is up 50% to 46% in Michigan. You can see where I'm highlighting it in blue on the screen. VP Harris is ahead in Michigan, and that is amazing. We have Maine's 2nd district. VP Harris is down 2. That's a little bit tight, but hopefully she can pull through right there. Nebraska's 2nd district, VP Harris is up 2, which is absolutely perfect. In New Hampshire, VP Harris is up by 10. That is absolutely beautiful to see. Let's go on to the next page right here. In North Carolina, VP Harris is ahead in North Carolina in this poll. And let me just tell you guys one more time, this is one of the most comprehensive polls. A few thousand people from each state have been polled to show that VP Harris is ahead. Now, Pennsylvania, of course, the tipping point state, the state that is known to decide this election. I mean, whoever wins Pennsylvania has a 96% chance of winning the entire election, I believe. Pennsylvania, 49% Harris to 48% Trump. Those are some amazing numbers right there. South Carolina, VP Harris is down only 8 points. I say only 8 because South Carolina is usually pretty red. Look at this, folks. Texas, 46% to 51%. Kamala is only down 5 points in Texas. And you guys already know what I'm going to say. 5 points is a lot to be down, but that is within the margin of error. Right here, you can see that Texas, which is usually likely red or safe red, is only a lean Trump. And then finally, down here, what am I missing? Wisconsin, 49% Kamala to 47% Donald Trump. Those are some amazing numbers right there. Wyoming is just 18% Kamala, 79% Trump. That is wild. But all of the important states are either toss-ups, lean Kamala, or states like Texas are actually lean Trump, which is absolutely amazing. And I think that we can safely assume that Donald Trump's internal polling looks something similar to this, which is why he's so frustrated on stage.
I'm blowing out my left arm, now I'm gonna blow out my right arm, and I'm blowing out my damn throat too.
This dude spends entire rallies just complaining, just yapping and complaining. Let's compare that to VP Harris. She gets asked, do you think women will make a difference this election? And she gives such an amazing presidential mature answer made for all Americans of all demographic groups.
Do you believe that female voters, women, will make the difference in this election?
I believe all Americans are going to make the difference. And I intend to be a president for all Americans. I am working to earn the vote of all Americans, regardless of their gender, race, or geographic location. Because listen, I think part of the issue at play right now is we need leadership in this country that recognizes the vast majority of us have so much more in common than what separates us. I think this is part of the reason that so many people are voting for me who may have formerly voted for my opponent, because they're just exhausted with the approach that's about trying to have Americans point their fingers at each other.
Absolutely. I totally agree with VP Harris when she says that we all agree on more than we disagree on. A lot of times we just disagree on how to get there. So when I started going to these MAGA rallies, I went in there with the goal of showing that most Americans want the same thing at a fundamental level. And I know it sounds crazy, but just hear me out. I know that MAGA seems wacky online, and many of them are, but most of the Trump supporters I talk to just want a happy family, a healthy family, want a safe life, want to make sure that they have enough income coming in to support them and their kids, and that they can all have long, prosperous, healthy lives within America. And I know a lot of times MAGA gets caught up on these culture war issues. They get a lot of times tricked into thinking the election was stolen or everybody's rigged against them. But at the end of the day, if I take liberal ideas and I wrap it in conservative rhetoric, most people want the same thing. So there's a very famous clip of me out there where I'm talking to a Trump supporter and he says, let's stop funding Ukraine and put America first. This man thinks that in order to protect his family, in order to protect his wealth, that we need to stop sending money over to Ukraine and keep it within America. But I very respectfully explained to him, hey, we're not sending money, we're sending old military equipment. In the process, we boost our economy, we stop Putin, we help our ally. It's a mutually beneficial arrangement where it helps everybody. And by the end of the clip, he understood that his interests are protected if we protect Ukraine. So what I'm trying to say is we all have the same interests at the end of the day. We just need to explain to a lot of MAGA how to get there. And I want to play you this clip of Harrison Ford, the famous Harrison Ford, one of my favorite people, explaining why we need to vote for VP Harris. And he says it in such a perfectly concise and succinct way. Take a listen.
Look, I've been voting for 64 years. Never really wanted to talk about it very much. But when dozens of former members of the Trump administration are sounding alarms, saying, for God's sake, don't do this again. You have to pay attention. They're telling us something important. These aren't soft people. They're governors, generals, standing up against the leader of the party they spent their lives advocating for. For many of them, this will be the first time they've ever voted for someone who doesn't have an R next to their name, because they know this really matters. The truth is this: Kamala Harris will protect your right to disagree with her about policies or ideas, and then, as we have done for centuries, we'll debate them, we'll work on them together, and we'll move forward. The other guy, he demands unquestioning loyalty, says he wants revenge. I'm Harrison Ford. I've got one vote, same as anyone else, and I'm going to use it to move forward. I'm going to vote for Kamala Harris.
What a beautiful, beautiful ad. It gave me chills at the end. I'm very glad that Harrison Ford is speaking out against this unhinged lunatic. I honestly love watching this video of Trump melting down on stage.
Because these stupid people. I'll make you a deal. Pretend you're listening to it perfectly, and I'll come back and do another one, okay? With a decent...
Oh, he's actually pissed. He's actually, look at how hard he just hit it right there.
Pretend you're listening to it perfectly, and I'll come back and do another one, okay? With a decent...
Oh, he is mad. You can see it right there in his face. He's gritting his teeth. And he even visited this coffee shop yesterday in Dearborn to try to court the Muslim vote, which, let me tell you, I don't think it's going to work successfully. I talk to a lot of Muslims on a day-to-day basis, including my dad, his community, and while, yes, a lot of them are disillusioned with the Biden-Harris administration, Donald Trump is not the solution, and many know.
She kills people. She wanted to, even in my administration.
He gets asked if he regrets his comments about Liz Cheney, and his response is, she's a war hawk. She kills people, which is essentially him saying, of course I don't regret my comments. It's essentially him doubling down on those very comments. If you appreciate this video, if you appreciate what I do, drop a like, subscribe, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.